咁但係嗰陣時其實你揾我嗰陣時
Thanks.
咧，你係即係I don't know maybe you can get this straight，即係you
Yeah.
had some like attention issues and
Hmm.
also 有啲 OCD 咁樣啦。
Yeah, I can.
Mm,
I'm pretty open about it. So
yeah.
I had both ADHD, attention deficit hyperactive disorder, as a
Mm,
diagnosis,
mm,
and obsessive compulsive disorder.
yeah.
And two things um, were quite unique. It colored my, high school, my elementary school years,
Yeah.
and definitely kind of was a struggle, but also a gift
Mm,
at the same time. I came to you, right, because I was a very extreme perfectionist at the time.
yeah.
I would sit down for an exam for essay and high stakes situation, and I would not write a paragraph because
Yeah.
I was in a state of mind where I just couldn't. I just had such high standards, or I just didn't know how to process
Mm-hmm.
myself into a piece of paper.
Yeah.
And that was before I met you. And I think, meeting you, going through the process of learning how to pick up those skills of writing stuff out
Mm-hmm.
seems like an easy thing to another person, but I actually struggled so hard
Yeah.
back then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
I
I'm
can
really
all
grateful going through you. I was,
right.
problems still arise, but then I
Mhm.
have the tools to deal with it.
Knowing some of the background, like you also had medication, stuff like that, like,
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
it must have been tough for you. But I back then, 其實我已經知道, I already knew you were gonna be an artist, kind of like perfectionist, like a product, oriented person, like
Hmm.
because you were also
Hmm.
an artist, right? Like 我記得你係
Yeah.
one of the things like you would go to, I don't know, was it Spain or somewhere else to like, do
Yeah.
paintings and stuff like that,
Yeah. Street
right?
art.
Yeah, street art, right? Like you
So
were,
yeah, because we
yeah,
would go to these international competitions
yeah.
in Romania, no, not Romania, Romania one time,
Mhm.
Macedonia, Portugal, and then they would have these artists like go up to the streets with their canvas and
Mm,
like their art tools and just like draw the whole day of
yeah,
places that they see. And
yeah.
so that was me. Like I spent like hours on the street just like
Hmm.
drawing stuff
Yeah,
and then like sipping, cappuccino. It
yeah.
was a very art street artistic life. It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
I learned so much too.
咁其實我都睇到少少 trend 嘅，即係話其實你好一個好 creative 嘅人，你想整啲嘢出嚟
Yeah, jump around.
，right?
Yeah.
So was that part of that, your how much do you think your ADHD and your OCD kind of
Oh,
contributed to that, or is there any correlation you think?
I think there has to be a correlation in some
Mm,
ways.
yeah.
I Yeah, it was really unique that I didn't like to focus on one thing for
Mm,
way too long, right?
mm,
A lot of people are able to like sit down, study a book, like studying for
mm,
like hours on end. That
mm,
was not my style.
mm,
And I also like doing things, being immersed in something. And
mm,
so, depending on what the thing was, like I could be reading a book, which I love to do.
mm,
I love reading a book. I can read it for like 10 hours straight.
mm, mm, mm.
And one time just like finish a book within like just one day,
Wow.
which was like something like this thick.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like studying for like a quiz, a pop quiz,
Mm,
I will like put it aside.
mm, mm.
And I couldn't study for it for like 5 hours despite like trying to concentrate on my best. So it was a
Yeah.
very like hyper focused
Mm,
different things and I needed it, like it was like an energy that needed to be dispersed. It can't be like focused on one thing too long. Otherwise,
mm,
it also felt like stale, right? I always felt like a constant need to move
mm.
in a
Yeah.
sense in my
Yeah.
mind, not necessarily like movement, but
Mm.
yeah,
What's your
yeah.
advice for parents or who have kids that are a bit more unique 或者需要多啲
Yeah.
extra help in terms of they might not fit in 一個 traditional environment 或者 or kids who are going through your struggle, right? What is
Yeah.
some advice you would give them?
Yeah, first of all, like as with anything that's different from the normal, it's like definitely don't be scared about this what's going to happen, because a lot
Mm,
of times we make the worst decisions when we're scared.
mm,
And instead, like just be just trust in your child first of all.
mhm,
Although like that, there's a lot of things that you perceive may go wrong, but at the end of the day, everyone has the capacity to just grow and be bloom in some ways. It's
mhm,
just in probably a different time frame that you might have in mind. Now, given that, I think it's also very important to like expose yourself to a lot of information in that lens, right? Like you gotta be able to filter the extremes, where people saying the rankings,
mm,
the the oh, your child needs to get this, your child needs to get that. And
yeah.
I think learning from my mom during a time when we first discovered my OCD diagnosis, it was a very scary time for her, but she confronted it with like
Mm,
bravery and
mm,
kept a level head, not going too far like left or right, but
mhm,
like dead center, because it's not about comforting your fear, or like it's about like that child and trying to do what you can without going over what you should do.
yeah.
So I don't actually have like a concrete way, because every single person is different. Every
Mhm,
like As I said, like I can give a prescription of what you should do for your child, but then again, I've never met your child, right?
yeah.
Also, my life is like very different from that person, and but the only reason I think it turned out quite well at the end, like a happy ending,
Mhm,
was because I wasn't overly concerned with the rankings or like things people say are safe, but
mhm,
more like whether or not I can like give value
mm,
and just have good intentions overall. Yeah,
yeah. So shout out to Samson and Bertha, your
yeah,
parents. They're
yeah,
some of the greatest parents I know. It's you
yeah,
know, very loving, very
yeah.
understanding.
Grounded. Yeah,
Yeah, very grounded, whole solid.